morning. It is 9:07 in the morning. I'm going to make a slight adjustment to my microphone here. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a workshop. This isn't necessarily meant to be like an analysis per se, even though we will likely be going through, a lot of analysis on some of these coins. So let me get myself turned up here so that way you can hear me a little bit better. There we go. And so I'm going to be going through Bitcoin. I'm going to be looking at altcoins. I'm going to be looking at stocks. I'm probably going to be doing this for about an hour to an hour and a half. So this is going to be a lengthy video. If there's a specific asset that you want me to take a look at, let me know. But this is meant to be an Elliott wave webinar, so I don't really want to call it a webinar. It's really just kind of like a workshop, but it's a one-sided workshop where I'm just going to kind of be talking through to try and help you understand where I think things are going and why they will be going there. So of course, before I get into any of this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You are responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research. I'm just giving my opinion on the market. I will take a look at the requests here in just a little bit after I get through some of the main indexes. So just bear with me, and if there's any point in time you want me to kind of dig in a little deeper, if I'm not going deep enough, you want me to give you a further understanding of why I think something is doing something in particular, just let me know and I can dig in a little bit deeper. So let's go ahead and take a look at the charts. All right, so first I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin. I've been watching this for a while now, and I think that this is, I think this is actually a pretty good count that I've got on here. I'm pretty happy with it so far. I still have this as, this ABC down here into wave 4. So starting up here at wave 3, going down to wave 4. Let me just zoom to the left here just to kind of show you how I believe we got where we are. Let me just compress that. All right, so from back here, let's go all the way back here, all the way back to, I'm going to have to go to a 4-hour time frame, I think, for this to make a whole lot of sense. All right, so from back here, what I counted was a 1, 2, 3, 4, nice compression here on this wedge to get us into this 5 for wave 1, and then we go down for wave 2, which means if this is the wave 1 and the wave 2 off of a larger wave 1 and wave 2, we'll talk about that a little bit later. If this is our wave 1, 2, then we would expect wave 3 to at least go to the 1618. And I'm going to pull this over and it's going to look really crazy, but just keep in mind what we're focusing on, this red line, this white line, and going up further, we're going to be looking for targets higher. So I'm going to throw, we've got the 1618 on here. We've got the 2618 on here. I'm going to throw the 3618, and I'm also going to throw, there's the 3618 right there. We're going to talk about that because it's very important. We're going to talk about that here in a moment. I'm also going to throw the 4618 on here, which I currently do not have, 4.618. All right, so that's going to be sitting up there as well that we're going to be paying attention to. So we've got our 1, 2, and we've measured that. You can see this line right here. This is our trend-based Fib tool. Let me just pull this guy over here so you can see, right? So we're measuring from down here, the 1, and then we pull back for the 2. It's a very shallow wave 2 that we've got. But off of that, we've got a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3 going all the way up here. It's going to get really messy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete that move. Now, this is why I said that this 3618 is so important, because usually, depending on how strong the market is, usually you have some areas of resistance at your 618s. All right, so we have the 1618 extension. We did have some resistance here, and then it went up and through. Then at the 2618, we pushed through, but we had a pretty steep rejection at the 2618. Then what did we have finally at the 3618? I'm going to go to an hourly time frame here, realizing that this is all going to disappear and we're going to be focusing over here. But we are going to keep an eye. I'm going to move this guy over to the right. We're going to keep an eye on the 3618, the 4618, and ultimately we're going to be putting that 5618 on there. Let me just throw the 5618 on here as well. 5.618. Okay, the 618s are extremely important and we have to pay attention to them. So I'm going to move down to an hourly time frame. We're going to be focusing over here, and probably I could go to more of a lower time frame, but I'm going to expand this. All right, so keep in mind here, this is the 3618 that we were focusing on. Watch at the rejection that we had at the 3618. Okay, so this was good for wave 3. It's an extended wave 3. I believe we have an extended wave 3 here, which led us to this target of 42,000, right? So back when we were down in this price range, I said we're probably going to get a rejection around 41 to 44,000. That was based off of this 618, and we got that rejection basically right at, what was it, almost 42K. So that was a good rejection. We had a nice correction. When we were in the middle of this correction, now I'm on an hourly time frame here, people were talking about us going back down to 22,000. Obviously that didn't happen. So what we look at right here, our waves indicator said to buy down here. Well, that was the bottom of wave A. Then we went up for wave B. Now watch this, because this was, I mean, it was almost too good to be true. I'm going to go down to a 30-minute here. We're going to focus on this correction just to try and give ourselves some confidence that this correction is complete. So I'm going to zoom in. Okay, so off of this top here, we had a nice 1, 2, 3, deep 3, strong 4, and then a 5. And this looked like a capitulation, okay, because we had a strong push down and a strong pull back up, right? And then off of the bottom, we had a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into an A, B, C into the B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the C. Nice 5, 3, 5. Okay, so that worked out really well. So we had 5 waves into the A, 5, 3, 5 into the B, and then a 5, A, B, C, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here into the C. So a nice 5, 3, and then a 5, 3, 5 to complete this wave C. And if you don't like the 5-wave structure there, you could easily, if you really wanted to pull it out, you could put an A, B, C into the A, B, C into the C. So if you wanted to see a 3, 3, 3, you could pull a 3, 3, 3 out of that. I believe that this looked like a 5-wave structure, but you could definitely put an A, B, C on that, and it would also work equally as well there. So we've got our structure down, and then our move up, and then we have that last move down. Now watch what happens with our waves indicator down here at this bottom. Now I'm on a 30-minute. On the hourly, this looked fantastic down here at the bottom. When we got there, I was talking on the Discord and I said, you guys could buy just about anything at this price and you're going to be making money. And that held, I mean, that was pretty darn true. That worked out pretty darn well. Here we go. So down here, waves indicator, the 1 hour, the 3 hour, and even the 12 hour was pretty far down there. This was a great place to buy. Back here, we didn't violate this low. That's also important, okay? And I know there are some people that are on the server that are interested in how to factor in a 1, 2, 1, 2. Well, this is what we need to look at here. So we have an impulse up, right? So it looks like a leading diagonal up. But this is not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This B is not a 5. And the reason why is because this A went too low, right? You really can't dig an impulse out of this entire move. You can pull it out of this little move right here. So I believe that we had a 1 and then A, B, C into the A, B, C into the B, A, B, C into the C. So 1 and an expanded move down here into the 2. We did not violate this low, which is why I believe we've got the wave 1 down here to wave 2. And note, I'm measuring this as well. So from down here, wave 1, A, B, C into wave 2. We would expect wave 3 to go all the way up to, let me just kind of move this around so you can see, we've got the 2618 and the 3618 up here. I don't think wave 3 is in yet. I don't think we've got a completed wave 3 in for this larger structure. So we've got a 1, 2, and again, up here, this is not the 3, right? This is not a 1, 2, 3. Why? Because this goes down way too low. This violates wave 1, which is why I'm counting this as a 1, 2, 1, 2. This went too low. But also, this wave 2 came down to the 618. This was a great move down. This was a great pullback structure. So if I were to do this, let me get onto a clean chart, and let me just do this on the Coinbase chart. Let me see if I've got anything on here. Let me clean this out. All right. So again, what we were just talking about is a 1 expanded down here into the 2, and then a 1, 2. Now, this move right here, Fib retracement, measuring from this bottom to this top, we came down to the 618. I mean, perfectly. If I threw the 65 on there, I'd be willing to bet that we fell right into the zone. All right, so 0.65. Let's take a look at that. And it went down to the 65 perfectly, right inside that golden zone. This was a great, great move. When you have a 618 pullback like this, I mean, you've got a good candidate for a pitchfork. All right, so we're going to put this guy here, go up here to the 1, go down to the 2. All right, and so far we're staying inside of this channel pretty well. We tried to break down below. It didn't really happen. Let me move into a shift. All right, so we've also got this. You know, you can see that it's respecting this on so many different levels. If I go to original, it's not going to work, right? Because that just goes way up there. You've got to put this into a shift or a modified shift. So we'll just do the modified shift because it looks like this is currently providing the most structured support and resistance, right? So we've got our support here, a nice big move off of this lower support, right? It tried to push down, it didn't happen. We kept closing above it, then all of a sudden we had this big move, a big 9.62% candle in 1 hour. That move went up almost $3,800. And we've basically stayed above there until just recently. All right, so we had some resistance here. We pushed up above, we got rejected, and then we got down here to the lower, and then we finally rejected that lower. So watching to see what happens here at about 48, but you know, keeping in mind that this could easily make its way back up here to the median, maybe even the upper. I'm still watching to see what happens at much higher prices. Watch what happens at 51,000, 54,000, somewhere in that range. Again, we're going to probably have another pullback. All right, let's go back to Bitstamp here, where I've got this. Now, up here in this price action, again, we've got the 1, 2, and again, I don't think the 3 is in on this either. All right, I don't think the 3 is in here either, because what I've got for this 1, 2, I've got the 3, it's going to be much higher, but I'm going to see some resistance up here. And again, I'm measuring this. Like, it's hard to see here because of the way that I drew this. Let me just draw this again. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my trend-based Fib extension tool. I'm going to start from the bottom here to the top right there, get the pullback right there. All right, so what do we have? We've got the 2618 all the way up here. Let me throw where's the 1618? Okay, here's my 1618. All right, so I actually think that the 3 is in. We go down for the 4. Now, how deep are we going to go for the 4? We could go as deep as 44,000, right? We went down to about 46. We got some respect here at the 236. What I'm doing here is I'm measuring this wave 3 because I've got a nice clean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into this 1, a pull back into the 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 1, 2, 3. A big move up for the 3. We stay in this channel for the wave 4, and then we completed that wave 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3. Okay, getting some good resistance here at this 4618. This is also from that larger structure from a while back. Good rejection there. So I believe that that is the wave 3 of this smaller wave. Down here for the 4. Maybe the 4 is in. I haven't made up my mind yet. We could still come down here to 44,000. Watching this channel could extend a little bit further. I don't know that we're going to go this deep. That would be very, very, very deep, but that would be still valid because the one, mind you, is all the way down here, basically at the 786. I don't think we're going to, obviously, I don't think we're going to violate that. I'm still pretty bullish, but it is possible for us to come down here to the 382, which is where a wave 4 usually goes. But wave 5, let's say wave 4 is in, we look like we're starting some kind of a leading diagonal or maybe even a rising wedge. One way or another, it's slightly bearish, but we're talking on a smaller degree here. We shouldn't violate this low, and if we do, I'm going to be looking for a move back to 44. But wave 5, I'm going to be looking for 52 to 53, somewhere mid 52s to mid 53s. That's going to complete wave 5, which is going to complete this wave 3. This wave 3, 1, 2. All right, the 2 is right here. I believe this is going to complete that wave 3, which is still bullish, you guys. This is still bullish, okay? Because we complete this wave 3, we're going to start a little bit of a correction here. This correction could take a month, maybe 2, right? I have to be patient here. But I believe late March to early April, more than likely, it's probably going to be sometime in March. We're going to bottom out here. We're going to find some base here, and we're going to see that move up to this 4618, which is where I believe this wave 3 is going to complete. We're going to get this wave 3, and again, we're going to start a long wave 4, and this wave 4 is going to take some time. It could come as deep as 43 to 47. We have to kind of wait and see what happens. But ultimately, my upside target for Bitcoin is currently going to be sitting up here. It's probably going to be somewhere between $85,000 and $95,000. This is going to be much later this year. Much later this year. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but we're going to be keeping an eye on that. So again, back to this little structure here. This is, I think, going to be what is going to build my bull case, because again, we've got a 1, 2, 1, 2 that's very bullish. And really, if you want to be completely honest, we had a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, now again, this 3 is in, working on this 4. Potentially it's already in. We go up for this 5 to complete wave 3. So really, we've got a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, go down for the 4, and then up for the 5 to complete this wave 3. This is going to be somewhere around 60,000. It's going to be somewhere around 60,000. It's going to take some time, but alts are going to be doing very well. All right, so enough of Bitcoin. Let's move into some alts. I've been watching Bitcoin Cash for a while here, and I believe that Bitcoin Cash is going to see some significant upside. All right, so we're looking at this on an hourly. We were taking a look at this a while back, and it looked like the wave 3 was here, but I actually believe wave 3 is up here. So that would be the 3. Hold on, let me put that 5 up there, because this wave 4 at $600, such strong support, because that was the 2618 that we flew through, and then an A, B, C here into this wave 4. It works. Actually, it works pretty well. It works pretty well. And off of this 2, you can count, off of this 2, we've got a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have this extension here into the 3. All right, it works pretty well. Nice steep wave 4, and then we're going to go up for wave 5. I'm going to watch to see what happens up here at about $830. I actually am one of the people that believe that Bitcoin Cash is probably going to make its way back to, $3,000-4,000. And I think we've just basically just started here. So we bought, as a group, we bought Bitcoin Cash back at, I think it was about $4.97. We bought actually before this big drop here. But, we had our stops a little bit lower, and this guy has, or actually it may have been back here that we bought Bitcoin Cash. I know it was below $500 when we got it, so honestly it probably was back here. on the 9th of February. But this has done very well, and this V-shape recovery looks really, really great. So let me just kind of zoom in on this, and let's just take a look at what we've got going on right now. Because from this, I'm going to go to a 15-minute here. Let's just take a look at this structure, because what it looks like, pretty clear, we've got a 1, A, B, C into this 2. I'm going to call this the 3, working on the 4, and then we're going to go up for the 5. We're going to get a pullback, right? So if you're not in, you've got some time here. Again, I do this all the time. Wave 1, down here to wave 2. So wave 3, we would be looking for it to come up here to the 1618, which would be about 750. That hasn't happened yet, so maybe that 3 isn't quite in yet. We would really want this to come at least to the 1618. And then this wave 5, we would look for this to come up here to the 2618. So that's going to be at 815. Now these are just our conservative targets, right? So off of this 1, 2, we should see inside of this wave 3, we should also see a 5-wave structure. Now I'm not going to go to a 5-minute time frame, but what I can say is off of this low, very easily you could say that we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're working on this 5. Okay, so we could put that in there. I'm not going to dig into it, but we want to see this last wave go at least to this 745 level, which is basically going to be a retest of back here, right? A retest of the high, get a little bit of a rejection here, and get into this wave 4, and then we can make a new high, or at least a new local high. Obviously, Bitcoin Cash has seen much higher prices, but this still looks pretty bullish to me. Bitcoin Cash looks pretty bullish to me. Moving to like a daily time frame, looking at this from a much wider market perspective, and I should be looking at this on Coinbase, but let's just start down here at the very bottom when Bitcoin Cash was at $130. Okay, again, very similar. We've got a 1, 2, and then working on this much larger move here. So I think, let's see here, off of this 1, 2, we would be looking for this guy to get up here to 950. All right, so we've got from here, off the bottom, 1, 2. Working on this, wanting it to go to about $1,000, 3, pull back for the 4, then we go up for wave 5, and this is going to be obviously on a higher degree. You got to keep your degrees right, otherwise it's not going to make a whole lot of sense. All right, so, and again, I'm looking at a daily, so it's going to be a little skewed, but as far as our upside target for that wave 5, 2618 at $2,500. That's where I'm going to be looking for Bitcoin Cash to top out, somewhere in that area. $2,500, if it's really strong, it'll go to that 3618 as we have discussed, but that's up at 6,500. I would say that that's a little bit of a stretch, but it wouldn't surprise me one bit if it happened either. Okay, so keep an eye on your 618s as you're projecting targets. If you've got a 1, 2, you need it to go through the 618, the 100, the 123.6. As long as it does those 3 things, it's more than likely going to go to that 1618. For right now, that is about $950 on Bitcoin Cash. We also know that we look at that 175, at least on traditional assets, we do hit that 175 pretty often, but somewhere in this range between 950 and 1075, we're going to be seeing some resistance there. I believe that's going to be that wave 3. If it goes through there, it's going to go to 25. It's going to go straight to 25, and this wave 3 is going to go to $2,500. All right, we need to see a rejection up here at that 950 to 1075 level. Again, if it pushes through there, we're going to be looking for a move to 24.75. And if that happens, then $6,500 really makes a whole lot of sense. I can definitely see that. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at Litecoin versus the dollar on Coinbase. All right, we've been watching this guy as well, and I believe that we've got a pretty decent count here for Litecoin to make its way back to the mid 300s. All right, so we also took a trade on Litecoin. It was at about I'd have to go back and take a look and see where we got into Litecoin. I want to say it was in like the 180s. Let me just go and take a real quick look. We got into Litecoin at 187. So it really was not a fantastic entry. And honestly, we're only, what, the $30 above where we got in. So really, we got in back here with a stop at about 260. I'm looking at the daily. I apologize. I need to be going to an hourly. Here we go. This makes a lot more sense. Sorry about that. Yes, so we got in at 187 with a stop at 162. All right, so we almost got stopped here, but it didn't happen. That 162, that stop was based off of a violation of this low, giving itself a little bit of room, right? So we got in at 187. We got in back here. I bought a little bit more on this pullback, so my average was closer to 180, 182. And we're still okay inside of this trend. Again, I still think, going back to the daily, I still think that there are much higher prices where we can go. I believe that we've got another candidate for a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I think the 3 is in. We go down for the 4, 3, 4. We didn't quite get to this 382. Again, I'm measuring wave 2 to wave 3, right? So that's what this fib pull is. We came down almost to the 382. We didn't quite get there. And then we're going to be going up for that 5, which is going to be sitting at about $333. I'm still holding true to that 333 because off of this bottom here on the daily, we've got a nice 1, 2, 3, working on the 4. This wave 4 could take a couple days, right? We could be entering a chop phase for a little bit, and then we're going to go up for that 5. I can take my trend-based fib tool off of this, 1, 2, that 3, again, watching what happens between 210 and 250. We are working on that wave 4, and then we can go up for wave 5. That wave 5 I'm going to be watching at 335, but it could get to this 4618, which is going to be at 360. One way or another, I think Litecoin is going to make at least another $100 of upside in the next several weeks. Hey, what's up, Yogi? Good to see you. So this looks pretty good still. Still looking pretty bullish on Litecoin. Yogi, I know you like Bitcoin Cash, so you may want to rewind about 5 or 7 minutes to take a look at what I've got going on in Bitcoin Cash. I know you would probably really love for me to do something on Bitcoin SV, so maybe I will do that as well here in just a little bit. Okay, let's take a look at Tezos. Tezos is something that we've been watching for a while. And I'm going to keep this on here. Yeah, I'm going to keep this on here for right now. I had a top that I had put here at about $5 for a local top. And so far so good. And I'm looking at this on a daily. I think that this count is still pretty valid. I think this is still very valid. Moving this wave 5 now up here, because obviously we went to about 565. So we went about 65 cents over where we were originally looking for this guy to go. I still think that Tezos, even though we had a good retest of this high and a good retest of this high back here, a good retest. But looking at this, I'm kind of questioning, now that we've got some more price action and we did extend a little bit higher. So very likely we could have a 1, 2 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 working on that 5. And as you all know, I have been watching for Tezos to make a move to $10, right? I mean, I've had this up here for a while now. Obviously, as the days go by, the counts are going to move out a little bit. If we're going to get up there, I think this is how we do it. And then we go for the wave 4, and then this wave 5 is going to be farther over here, which is going to push, again, it's going to push these counts out a little bit more, and that's okay. Because, I don't try and predict, price action much further in the future, but based on what the candles have printed, I think that this is a pretty good case here for, let me move down to a 4-hour time frame, because what I really want to focus on is off of this low here. Okay, off of this low, I do not think we have a violation here. So we've got a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 1, and then we've got a 2 right here. But off of that, off of this 2, what do we have? Well, right here, another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. A nice, another 1, 2, 1, 2, and actually here we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, working on that 5 into the 3, go down for the 4 and up for the 5. I think this is what's going on here. Moving this to a lower degree, okay, and then off of this guy right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into that wave 3. It looks like the subdivision is pretty good for this, working on that 3, the larger 3, right? So keeping in mind, we are kind of on a low time frame here. We're off of this 2, and then we've got a nice 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 3 is in, 4 is in. We'd be going for the 5, which would be a little bit higher. Let's see how we have retraced. And so what we're going to do, we're going to measure it from the bottom of wave 2, right there, to the top of wave 3. We came down to the 50. We came down to the 50. It's a good move. We'd be looking for a move up to 673 for this wave 5 to complete this wave 3. They're at about 673. When that happens, all right, so when that happens, we're going to be looking, again, a move up here to about, we're going to put it at about 690. We're going to be measuring this wave 3. When it is done, right, we're going to be taking a look for that wave 5 to go up to about 895. This wave 4, we're going to be looking for a pullback. More than likely, it's going to come to this diagonal that we've got here, this diagonal trend line that we have from our pitchfork, probably going to move its way down here to this level again to retest $5 before we see that move up to $8.95, $9. All right, that'll be that wave 3. All right, so that'll be that wave 3. Then we go down for wave 4. When we get there, again, going up to $9. Let's try and get this as close as we can, $9. Now we're going to be measuring this wave 3. Watching for a move on this guy back to the 236 or the 382. I think this one's probably going to come a little deeper. It's probably going to come down here to the 382, down here. Then we go up for wave 5. We're going to be taking a look for this guy, maybe even to expand higher, because we're going to be looking for between $10 and $12. All right, so that's going to be what completes this 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, so again, off this, we've got this 1, 2, 3, 4 is in. We're working on the 5. Again, we're watching on this guy to come up here to about 7. We go down here for wave 4, watching for him to come back down to about 5 to 5 1/4. Then we go up for wave 5 at about $9. Taking it from about 5 1/4 to $9, that'd be a good move. That'd be a really good move, actually. It's what 80%, something like that. Let's just go ahead and measure it and see what we've got. 73%, not bad, not bad. Then we come back down here for wave 4. Maybe wave 4 comes back down to $5, right? You're going to have people, again, this is how you shake bulls out. You make them bearish. You make them bearish. Now, we're in a bull market. There is no doubt about that right now. We're in the middle of it. And a lot of people have PTSD from 2018. So the whole reason why we have pullbacks that go really deep is to get less bulls on the upward move. So what I mean by that is we see this move come from $4.68, $4.69 from where it's at right now, eventually making its way up to $9. That's like 100% from where we're at right now, right? 92%. That's a fantastic return. All right. But then we see it come all the way back down to 5, and people are like, man, we're gonna be coming all the way back down to $2.50. We're gonna come all the way back down to $4, and that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. We're going to have some oscillators reset, right? When you have an extended wave 3, here's something that I want you all to hear. When we have an extended wave 3, let me just kind of paint a picture for you guys on what's actually going to happen. Let me go to BLX. What's going to actually happen here on a wave 3, I don't have my moving averages on here. Let me just get my moving averages on here. And I don't have, oh, it's still trying to, I want to show this to you guys because this is pretty important. So let me pull up another chart and bring it over. Obviously, I'm having some issues with my moving averages over here. So let me pull this up because I want to show this to you. And it would appear, all right, give me just a second. I'm going to refresh my my chart here because I've got something going on. Okay, so I've done my refresh. Let me, oh, maybe I actually have it over here. Have I had it over there all along? I did. Okay, go into BLX on the daily. When we have an extended third, all right, BLX on the daily here, focusing on, I'm going to remove this. This was actually my bearish chart that I had. All right, so off of this, we've got from the bottom to the top, 1, 2. All right, 1, 2. Still waiting for that third, but on the daily, what we've got, let me show these moving averages. All right, so on the daily, we've got this 55 exponential that just continues to creep its way up. When you have an extended third like we had here, keep in mind that the 55 exponential was all the way down at like 23,000 at that time. When you have an extended third, you have to let the moving averages move their way up. This 55 exponential, as you can see, is pretty strong support. Once we had a bullish cross here on this 22 and 55, I mean, we have been bullish darn near ever since. This was way back when we were at about 11 to 11,200. When we have this extended third, and again, we have this little pullback, we counted this as wave 3 down here to wave 4, and then again, we're working on that wave 5. But what did we need? We needed the moving averages to move ourselves back up, okay? So we had that strong support on the 55 exponential on the daily, and now we've got less bulls on board because down here, everybody was like, yeah, we're gonna go back down to 22, right? You can take a look at the weekly and watch what's happening on the weekly, the same thing. Same thing, we're going to retest this 21 exponential on the weekly at some point, just like we did back here. And now watch this, on this 21 exponential on the weekly, we were retesting this, man, and we just launched off of it. And now we're working ourselves up here. This 21 exponential is moving its way slowly up higher and higher. We're going to retest it, but that does not mean we're going to go down to 26,600. That just means that the more weeks that we sit above 26,000, the higher that this 21 exponential on the weekly is going to be. Extended thirds just mean you have to give it more time in wave 4 for these moving averages to catch up, and then they provide support. That is exactly what happened on the daily, right here. Yeah, we had a big extended move up, and when we were at the peak, that 55 was right here at 24,200. Give it 2 weeks, and then that 55 was up there at 28,800. We had less bulls on board back here. When I was saying right here on this day and on this day, I was saying, hey guys, go buy anything. Go buy any alt. You're going to make money. And literally, I think it would probably be, I think it'd be okay for me to say that 95% of anything that you could have bought back here would have made money. Because you had a lot of people capitulating on alts. You had a lot of people that were like, yeah, we're going to be going lower. So they were selling Bitcoin. They were selling stuff. And I was like, no, I think we're done. and we had the completion of the correction, then a nice 1, 2. We did not violate this low. We had support of that 55 exponential on the daily again. And look at what we've done. Now we're back in another extended phase where we're just waiting for these moving averages to continue to rise. And unless we break the 55 exponential on the daily, I'm going to continue to be bullish. It's as simple as that. And that is not an Elliott wave thing. That is just a fundamental, just the way that moving averages work. Yeah, you do have mean reversion, which means that the mean, the average, that's why these are called moving averages, because the average price over a 55-day period back here was right at 28,800. The 55 exponential moving average, the average price over a 55-day on an exponential scale was back here at 29,400. And now that 55-day average is at 35,000. So as long as we continue trading above 35,000, I'm good. It's as simple as that. And we're continuing to move up, and so that is just the way that it is. All right. All right. So let's take a look at NNDM. NNDM, this is Nano Dimension. This is on NASDAQ, so this is a stock. I am going to take a look at the S&P as well. I'll do that here a little later. But let's take a look at this guy. I'm going to start at a daily. I'm going to zoom out. Start at a daily. All right, so it looks like it listed up here at about 76. We had a big crushing move down. All right, so off of that lower, the first thing that I'm going to do, and usually the first thing that I ever do. All right, first, they had a split, a 1 to 10 split. That was back here where we had a nice cleansing candle. All right, the first thing that I like to do on something that has gone down so far is I like to take a fib from the very top all the way down here to the very bottom just to kind of see where we're at. So we're sitting right here at the golden zone right now on a log scale. If I go to arithmetic, it looks like we have much further upside to go. Looks like we based down here for a long time. So from all of 2019, almost all of 2020 before it finally started to move up. Actually, the really interesting thing is when the whole market was capitulating back in February and March, this guy didn't really move a whole lot. I mean, I guess if you put it on log scale, it does look like it did, right? It does look like it did on a log scale, but really, if you're taking a look at arithmetic, it didn't do a whole lot in February and March of last year, and it has gone up significantly. So this guy was all the way down at 85 cents. And it's up at 1560. So this one's already gone up 1700%. So you always have to keep that in mind. You always have to keep that in mind. So I'm on a daily here. So off of this low, I'm going to call this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so I'm going to call this a 1 here. Off of this low, I've got a 1 and then a nice 2. And I'm going to be putting the 3, 4, 5 up there. I'm going to put this on a higher degree. If this is bullish, and it kind of looks like it is, again, first thing I do, trend-based Fib extension, I'm going to try and tag the very bottom right here, and I'm going to get the very top right there. I'm going to get the pullback. This is a very strong asset. So I'm going to be watching for wave 3 to make its way up here to about $21. All right, I'm going to put the 4 and the 5 out here because the reason why I'm looking for the 4618 is because I don't think that this is wave 3. And the reason why is, again, you know, I've got another 1, 2. And again, this can't be a 1, 2, 3. This can't be the 3. The reason why it can't be the 3 is because this moves down too low. So again, off of this bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, big wave 5. Into the 1. We've got the 2. All right, then I think this is the 3 up here. We're going to measure this here in just a moment. I'm going to say for a moment that that is the 4, and then we're going up for that 5 on a lower degree. All right, I'll also change the color just to make it look fancy. All right, so looking at this, we're going to measure, as we have measured this 1, 2, I'm also going to measure this 1, 2. All right. So I'm going to put this guy, I'm going to extend it out just a little bit here, try and get this perfect. All right, so this 2618 was right here. We extended above it. It's possible that this wave 3 could stop here at about $20, but I think that this is the wave 3. And we would be looking for somewhere between $20 and I really think it's probably going to make it to about 2150. So all in all, I think it's going to make its way up there for this wave 3. And then when we get there, watch for, and you're going to have to do this because this is not an asset that I usually keep an eye on, but you're going to measure, and again, let me just do this right here real quick. I did this on other assets. Going up, measuring that wave 3, we didn't quite make it to the 382 for wave 4. We made it to 236, obviously. We didn't quite make it to the 382. That negative 236 is sitting right on top of that 4618. Leads me to believe that's going to hit. It's going to hit. And that's just more confluence for me to believe it's going to make it to 2150. I'm measuring this wave 3. Measuring this wave 3, and actually I could bring this guy a little bit lower, and then it sits at 2150. I think 2150 is likely where an NDM is going to go. I believe it is. I believe it's going to take weeks to get there, but I think it's going to definitely make its way up there. It's going to make its way up to 2150. What is that from a P&L where we're at right now? Is there a good trade setup here? I guess that's really the question that I'm asking. If we're going to make our way up to that 2150, that's a 38.3% trade. Whoops. 38.3% trade. What's a stop loss on this? 6.62, 6.43%. That's kind of a wide stop. I'm not a real big fan of that. Let me take a look at this on waves and just see what it looks like on an hourly. Is there a good trade setup here? No, there's really not. The best trade setup was going to be right here at about 13, right? So we had the the 1 hour and the 3 hour, which were basically all saying, yeah, you should probably be buying here. And this was actually a really great place to be buying. Good support here at about 1340. I don't see a good trade setup right now. If this guy does pull back a little bit more, I would say that, yeah, probably could make a good trade off of that top. Gosh, and even then, we already went back to the 618, had good reaction off of that 618. I think the trade is gone. I think that, potentially you could manage your risk. No, that's that same 6.6%. I don't see a good trade here, but if you're already in, I would say to look for that guy to make its way up to 2150. And even from where we're at right now, that's going to be, it's going to be a really, really good trade. What did we say? 38% from where we're at right now. All in all, I think at NDM looks good for continued upside. I do not see a good trade setup from where we currently are, only because your risk is 6.43%. On our Discord, we're going to be having a webinar for our insured members where we're going to be talking all about risk exposure and managing all of that. So we're going to be doing that here in about an hour on the Discord. So let's go ahead. I'm going to take a look at LISC and EGLD. So LISC versus its LSK. There we go. LISC versus Tether. Again, I haven't looked at this in a long time. So I hate this wick. I hate that wick. It's going to make it very, very difficult to really. Let me just see. That was a move down to the 786, which is technically valid. So off of that move. Okay. So trend-based Fib extension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 1. I hate this wick here. It's going to make it so difficult to accurately predict anything. Again, we're on logarithmic scale here. And let me just measure this guy as well, because again, we came down pretty deep. So I'm just going to do a Fib tool on this, and we came down to the 618. So I do like this, even off of the wick, which I don't like the wick. I still don't like the wick. But measuring off of this low to this high, and then this pullback. We're going to be watching, yeah, so I see a lot of confluence here at about 492. Now, we're at 352 right now. So if I see this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I would say more than likely $5, we're going to see a little bit of a rejection. That is going to be off of this low here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, then come down for the 4. Don't know how low it's going to go just quite yet. Then we can move ourselves up here to about 650 to maybe even $8. I could see that being very, very possible for this guy. That would take ourselves pretty high. So very, very possible that that happens. And for that to happen, we would need to stay above a price action of about $2.75. As long as we stay above $2.75, I think we're good. And again, looking left, right? Not just looking at this wick right here. What I'm also looking at this high right here. So a good bullish retest of that high, right? So that high was right there. So watching that, that's at 288, right? 288. And we did a bullish retest of that. And so that works out pretty well for us, which means that we could see that continued upside. You know, seeing that this was a good pullback to the 618, I'm going to go ahead and put a pitchfork on here. And let me see if I can get this perfectly from this low to this high. Get this pullback right there. All right. So just like most others, this is staying inside of this channel pretty well. We had lots of support down here. Didn't violate this low. Okay. We blew through the median. We had some clustering above the median. We went up. We hit this upper. So yeah, I think very likely, give it some time. It's probably not going to happen very quickly. Especially we're going to get this pullback here, which could take us, you know, potentially back down here to retest that again. But that 5 to retest that upper, you know, take a look at this for, you know, later this year to make itself up to about $8. So if you can pull this to, you know, get it down here at about $2.90, $3, somewhere along there, I think that you could ride that up to $8 given a couple months time. EGLD. All right. That was a nasty wick. That was a very, very steep pullback. So let's just take a look here. It could be that EGLD, that move is complete. I would, you know, on EGLD, I would actually wait. I would wait to see what happens because it's very possible, unless he overtakes like 146. I would say, and it's actually pretty close right now. I mean, going to a 30-minute, just like most others, a huge capitulation wick, and then it's just kind of grinding. But he's got to make its way back above this guy in order for it to remain bullish. It's got to close, you know, at least an hourly above 146 to 150, somewhere in this range. It's got to close above it. Right now, I mean, yeah, it's got a big wick down there, but I'm just not sure at this time. Going to a 4-hour here, you know, I can see a 1, 2, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5 into a 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, I really think, you know, at a minimum, what we've got is a 1, 2, 3. This 4 just comes down so far before we see more upside. Let me just pull this guy up here. Yeah, again, it didn't get to this 382, and maybe it won't. I don't like EGLD. I don't know. There's just something about it. But I mean, that upside target's going to be sitting there, conservative upside target at about 489, which, to be fair, is like what, 300% on top of where we are right now, 250%. But where's your stop? Like, unless you were able to get this all the way down here at like $70, where's your stop? Your stop is going to be down here at the bottom of this, and I don't like that at all. I don't see a good trade setup here, but I do see serious upside. So if we can see a good buy on the waves, which looks like it has probably already come and gone. No, we don't even have a buy on the waves on that pullback. When was the last time we had a buy on the waves? It was back here when it was at about 46, and then again back here when it was at about 36. Right now, I see some oscillators trying to reset. More than likely, this guy is going to pull back a little bit. Maybe it continues going higher. I still think that there is some potential for a move up to that $497, $500 mark, somewhere around there. But I think we have further downside before we get there. All right, it is 10:03. I did not take a look at the S&P 500. I'm out of time right now, and I'm going to go ahead and end it. This has been fun. This has been fun. If this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Share with your friends. If you've got any friends that are interested in learning Elliott Wave, I'm more than happy to help with that. There's a link in the video description for our Discord. There's a QR code that was on the screen for the duration of our entire video for you to be able to scan to get access to the Discord. And yeah, we'd love to have you there. So, yep, you're very welcome for the analysis. And wherever you're in the world, I hope you're having a good day, a good night, and a good